Great to have your company again, Gemini. It's April 2014. I'm Dadhichi from the website astrology.com.au with your month in focus. And you know, one of the key themes for Gemini is diversity. It gives you this uncanny ability to multitask, to do so many things, but that is the danger for Gemini of spreading yourself too thin and not ultimately being able to focus on one thing and perfecting that. Here we see that that's clear due to the transit of Mercury in your career sector right now. So that very crystal clear, logical, deductive planet is moving through the watery sign, which is its depressed sign. In other words, and by the way, this is your ruling planet. So we see during this cycle, in the first part of the month, clearly a dispersion of your energies and quite likely an inability to focus on things. Yeah, when I'm advising corporate leaders about their staff, I usually suggest that during a cycle like this is the best possible time of the year for this person, namely Gemini, to take a holiday. If you're not focused on your work, what's the point of labouring that point? So if you can get away, this is a time when you can recharge your mental batteries. Here we see after the 3rd, a slight improvement with Mercury in a favourable aspect to Saturn, but that's somewhat offset by the hard aspect from the Sun to Pluto on the 3rd, and that's got to do with finances. So maybe what's happening is here you're worrying about the bills, the money. That's a difficult sort of cycle for you when these hard aspects relating to money impinge upon the experience of your work, perfecting the work as we're talking about here. It's nice to know that that doesn't last long. Just 1 week after the 8th, your ruling planet moves to the 11th house. That's a sign of Aries. It will fire you up. Aries is a friendly sign for Gemini, and Mercury is also somewhat of a fiery planet, being very close to the Sun. So this endows you with a lot more confidence intellectually, a lot more focus, and the ability to really eliminate what I call the unnecessary in your life at this time. Further augmenting that is the lovely aspect of Mars to the Sun on the 9th. That's empowering for you physically. And this is a time when you want to get out and go for a run, get on your cross trainer or your treadmill, whatever feels comfortable, and sweat a little bit. You'll get rid of a lot of that tension that had built up in the first part of the month. Other aspects there that I like, again on the same date, the Sun in the nice aspect to the Gemini Sun sign. But on the 15th, that could come to a screeching halt with Mercury, your ruler, in the right angle to Jupiter. Now that has a lot to do with promising too much in terms of your work, maybe being promised too much financially. I'll give you an example of that. Maybe you're a tradesperson or you have to quote as a consultant for a job. You underestimate the time that's going to be involved. That's a problem. Yeah, I can deliver. Yep, no problem. We can do this, that. We'll have it by the deadline. That's not going to happen. And under these transits, you need to be mindful of that and maybe make extra allowances for time, materials, manpower that's going to be required to do the job in question. Let's just zoom forward there to another very important date, the 15th, where we see in your 5th house a lunar eclipse taking place. Important month this month as well, Gemini, because there are 2 eclipses. This lunar eclipse in your romance and affairs sector, which also relates to your children if you've got kids. So that's a big focus there, a release of tremendous energy under the eclipses. According to the Hindu tradition, you shouldn't really even be outside under the eclipses, particularly if they're visible in the nation that you live in. And what you can do under these eclipses is focus more on your spiritual life to bring the benefits of those eclipses to your aura, to your energies. So this eclipse can also help accelerate your ability to see into the nature of others, the personality of others and their motivations. Some hard aspects take place, a few mixed aspects actually, from the 16th up until the 23rd. Mostly these are in the 10th house, the 2nd house, which have to do again with your career and your finances. You may be feeling a little dissatisfied about what you're earning for the work that you do. Sir, I'm not happy. You've got to talk about that. Talk to your boss. How are they going to ever understand that? You know, usually it's non-verbal communication, right? Well, that could mean anything. It could mean that your underwear's too tight, for all they're concerned. Speak about your dissatisfaction and ask for what you want. What's the worst that can happen? They can say no. If they fire you, then get something better. They don't deserve you. So that's up till the 23rd. These sorts of influences on you can be a little bit irritating. And again, I always say that speaking about your dissatisfaction is a way to release the pressure, but to also just come clean and let others know that you're being honest with them. At least they know where they stand in your estimation as well. The 23rd is significant. That 5th house lunation, what we call that eclipse, also is in the company of Mars, very, very fiery planet there, in that square aspect to the sexual position of Pluto. So there could be some rather, I could put it like this, power plays going on as far as intimacy is concerned. It's never a good look when either party starts to use sexual favours as a means of winning the respect or love of the other person. And you need to be mindful of that, and you need to be alert to the fact that that is ultimately going to undermine your relationship. I like the aspects of the 27th and also the eclipse of the 29th, Mercury and the Sun to Neptune, and that 12th house eclipse has a lot to do with generosity, selflessness, and understanding how you can lead a better life through forgetting about yourself a little bit. The great enlightened beings are always talking about this selfless state being really the true state of discovering yourself. This 12th house influence is very, very telling on your spiritual development and can indicate a need to be more selfless, more generous, more empathetic with other people. Some circumstance may arise at this time that gives you the opportunity to help someone and really, really make you feel good. And I see that also in terms of the way you communicate and are communicated to, with the favourable final aspect of the month around the 30th with Mercury to Jupiter. Excellent placement, wonderful sort of end to the month, and one that I hope continues till I see you here next time, at the same time next month. In the meantime, please join me at astrology.com.au. We've got a more detailed analysis of the month there, our daily readings, monthly and yearly forecasts, so you can get all of what I'm saying here in the context of the bigger picture. Take care now. Bye-bye.